Hey everyone, it is Evan here from The Trade Risk on Wednesday, December 4th. We are intraday right now, and this is our weekly trade ideas video where we bring you some of the names from our watch list, stocks that are holding up well, showing some relative strength, and ideally are not yet too extended in their moves. These videos, as always on Wednesdays, are powered by our partners over at Investors Business Daily. We're curating ideas from their stock lists. You can get access to their stock lists with a link in the description of this video. So we got 4 names we're looking at today. Pretty small list, not seeing a tremendous amount of opportunity out there. Some names still quite extended, other names kind of floating around in kind of no man's land from a technical perspective, but we got 4 names we're looking at. First one here is MOMO. This comes from IBD's list. And when we look here at the picture, you can see that this is still very much in a longer term sideways consolidation. In fact, if we zoom out even further and go to a weekly time frame, we can see that this has effectively gone nowhere for about 2.5 years. Since 2017, it's been moving sideways around or slightly under this $40 mark. So it has gotten back up towards kind of the middle of this range here, upper middle of this range. If we go back down to that daily chart now, you can see that we do have this little bit of a flag here in the short term, or this pullback, this consolidation. As it bumped up against $40, it pulled back again. And I think this is just an interesting name to pay attention to. It is still kind of on that growth spectrum, and a name that could start to ignite. It hasn't yet. It's got a lot of energy and fuel here, so a little bit of a longer term name, still kind of a wait and see mode, but again, with a market that has a lot of stretch stocks and stocks that just don't look a whole lot actionable right now, I think MOMO here, you can start to at least just pay attention to it, put it on the watch list, and see what happens here in the next couple of weeks into the year end. So that's our first name there. Number 2 is JCOM. This is a name we talked about a month ago. And again here, this is sort of a longer term look. When we zoom out, let's go to a weekly chart. You can see that this has just recently broken out from a multi-year range to new all-time highs. This happening to be around $91. We broke out in October of this year. It was presented as a trade ideas in the beginning or middle of October. You can see it's still kind of floating around here. It hasn't really, taken off to the upside. It hasn't suddenly experienced a strong surge of momentum or strong trend away from this breakout zone. And if we go down to a daily chart, you can see it's kind of just taking its time. It's basing out over this significant level here. It had a couple of times of or maybe just one time of potentially retesting that breakout zone. So JCOM, I think, is interesting here. It's kind of back down to this upper level support area around $94. It's continuing to hold. So it's one to pay attention to after a long multi-year breakout. It's kind of taking its time here, gathering up energy. Perhaps this turns into a continuation pattern that starts the trend again. So JCOM, I think that's another interesting one there from IBD. Now, the next 2 names come from our watch list. First here is MTCH. So this is Match Group, and you can see this has been pulling back. It's been in this kind of consolidation pullback mode ever since topping out in August here. Almost $100 it got to. It got as high as $95.32. That was the all-time high for Match. It has since then pulled back. It's been just kind of grinding lower here and really kind of retracing a lot of the progress it made in 2019, but I'm starting to get a look at it here, starting to pay closer attention as this pullback now, as this consolidation has taken about four or so months. It's getting a little more gradual here. You can see we had this gap down day on the 6th of November. That turned out to be kind of a buy the immediate dip here on the open intraday, and then we ended up popping higher, and we're starting to consolidate back to this zone here. So Match, not quite ready yet, but it is one that just paying attention to it here, looking to see how it acts if it starts falling back into or below that $67 area, or if it can start to break above this trend line here, something that has my interest. So MTCH, that's one. Second name here is a setup, is a stock that we have a entry in already. We have a position here. Our Merlin strategy did buy this last week for PaySign, and I still think this is an interesting one. Despite the rally here from last week. So we do have a favorable entry here in the 930, I think 930 on the dot was our entry price here, but I still like it at this level, and even back below if it can start to, if it comes back down and retests this area here, which I wouldn't be surprised if it did. I do like the potential here. You can see this one also topped out in about August, this one a little bit earlier in July of this year at $19. And if we zoom out here, this has had a monster year. It started the year down here in January at around $3.50 a share. So from a percentage basis, this was up over 400% at its highs. Now, it's certainly pulled back a little bit. It's a very volatile name, so you have to keep that in mind when you're assessing risk and position sizing here. But it does seem like this $9.70, $9.50 area has been supports where buyers have been stepping up here. So I like it in this general zone. We, of course, have a position in it, looking for higher prices, not looking for any type of near-term targets here. So we're looking to stick with this, but PAYS, have the position like the stock. So that's it. That's what I got for this week's video. 4 names here, a couple of different looks, but overall, not seeing a tremendous amount of new opportunity out there right now. So kind of just keeping a tight list and keeping an eye on things as we get through this week. So that's it. Thanks so much, as always, for tuning in and watching every Wednesday trade ideas just like this. We'll be back on Friday for the market recap video. You can subscribe on YouTube or follow us at The Trade Risk. Have a great rest of your day.